In this session, we are going to discuss about solid waste management and technological applications to conversion of waste to energy. In this particular presentation, we are going to cover about sources of waste, health and environment hazards caused by waste, then waste management, types of waste, hazardous waste, solid waste and plastic waste. As per Basel Convention of 1989, waste has been defined as the substances or the objects which are disposed of or are intended to be disposed of or are required to be disposed of by the provisions of national law. As per national law, जो सब्सटेंसेस को हमें डिस्पोज करना है और that is comes under waste, and these waste are generated from a variety of sources in industry, households. These sources of waste are from industry, from commercial activities, then domestic waste and agriculture waste. These are broad classifications of the sources of the waste. The waste which are generated, these are causing health or environmental hazards. And these hazards occur due to various reasons like surface water contamination, groundwater contamination, soil contamination, air pollution, etc. This surface water contamination, this occurs when the waste reaches the water bodies. It pollutes the rivers and the lakes. जो वेस्ट हम लोग डिस्पोज ऑफ करते हैं in the pits, or if it is even if it is left over somewhere, then the it percolates into the water. Some portions of waste gets dissolved and it gets carried away along with water to the water bodies, and water bodies get contaminated, which causes hazards to the users of the water from those water bodies, or the organisms which are living in those water bodies. Then groundwater contamination. This occurs when the residues of waste leaches into the ground. Residues of waste leaches into the ground and it trickles through the contaminated areas. ये इसमें जो पानी रेन होने से या किसी भी कारण से वाटर उस वेस्ट के कांटेक्ट में आता है, then residues get dissolved into the water and it trickles through that landfill or effluent treatment plant, and it leaches the chemicals into the underground water, and thus water gets contaminated. Soil contamination is also caused by these wastes. Waste can harm the plants and can indirectly adversely impact the health of the humans and animals. Contaminated soils can leach into the groundwater. इस तरह से waste causes hazards to health and environment. When wind passes over the waste materials, some of the waste particles get airborne and it flows far and wide, causing pollution to the environment. Then emissions from the incinerators. When waste are burned in the incinerators, then the emissions and other waste from incinerators or other waste burning devices, तो उसमें से जो emissions होते हैं, they are also causing air pollution. Then plastic wastes, when they are left unattended, they are releasing dioxins, furans, chlorinated biphenyls, PCBs. These are released from the emissions are these are carcinogenic and can disrupt endocrine system. Then greenhouse gases from the landfills. So because wastes are causing harm to environment and human beings, so we should manage the waste so that it causes minimum harm to the surroundings and we are able to get benefits from its usage. So, what is waste management? It actually includes the activities. Waste management activities which include collection, transport, treatment and disposal of waste, then control, monitoring and regulation of the production, collection, transport, treatment and disposal of waste, and prevention of waste through process modifications, reuse and recycling. All these activities are coming under the purview of waste management. और वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट करने का बेस्ट वे इज कि हमें कोई वेस्ट हो ही नहीं जनरेट. यदि every effort should be made that our processes are such that no waste is generated. For that we have to alter our designs. If we are not able to design a process in which no waste is generated, then we should make at least such a design in which minimum waste is generated. The most favor, first of all, we have to try and prevent generation of waste. If we are not able to prevent generation of waste, we have to try and minimize its generation. Even after this, after minimization, some waste is generated, then we should try to reuse those waste. Some of the items can be reused as such, or those items which cannot be used in the same condition, then the item can be recycled, and after recycling useful products can be obtained. If if the waste material is not recyclable also, but it is having high calorific value, then we can get energy from them. Finally, if we are not able to get any reuse, recycling or energy extraction is also not possible, then those waste have to be disposed, but they have to be disposed after suitable treatment so that it does not harm the environment. This is the Bottom things are least favored and top items. These are most favored items. Types of waste we can classify as hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste, then special waste and other waste. This non-hazardous waste, under non-hazardous waste we have got solid waste, which can be municipal solid waste or plastic waste. And under category of special waste we have biomedical waste, e-waste and battery waste. And other than these we have some other waste like construction and demolition waste. तो वैसे वेस्ट जो कि हैजार्डस वेस्ट के कैटेगरी में नहीं आते हैं एंड दे आर नॉट ऑल्सो कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड डिमोलिशन वेस्ट, वो सब सॉलिड वेस्ट में आ जाते हैं। एंड सॉलिड वेस्ट को जो में उसका फर्दर सब डिवीजन है प्लास्टिक वेस्ट एंड म्यूनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट। म्यूनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट मीन्स जो डोमेस्टिक घरों से जो निकलती है वेस्ट स्वीपिंग के फॉर्म में, दे आर कमिंग अंडर म्यूनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट। तो डिफरेंट टाइप के वेस्ट को हैंडल करने के लिए डिफरेंट रूल्स हैव बीन फ्रेम्ड फॉर हैजार्डस वेस्ट, hazardous and other waste management and transboundary movement rules have been framed in 2016. As per these rules, hazardous waste are those waste. These are any waste which by reason of their characteristics such as physical, chemical, biological, reactive, toxic, flammable, explosive or corrosive properties, they are causing danger or are likely to cause danger to health and environment. They are coming under purview of hazardous waste. ये जो hazardous waste जो हैं they are hazardous because of their characteristics. These characteristics are making them hazardous. Hazardous waste के लिए regulatory frameworks are there. These were framed under Environmental Protection Act of 1986. Then Hazardous Waste Management and Handling Rules 1989. After this act, this hazardous waste management rules were framed. Then after Basel Convention, which was in 1992, hazardous waste management and handling and transboundary movement rules were framed in 2008. And after this, hazardous waste management, handling and transboundary movement rules 2016 came into being. Presently, we have to follow this rule. Examples of hazardous waste generated by Indian Railways. Indian Railways में hazardous waste क्या क्या generate होते हैं? तो waste cutting wires, waste oil and waste or residues containing oil from the maintenance of machines from locomotive sets and manufacturing units. Manufacturing units and locomotive sets में जो waste oil, cutting oil and waste oil और other waste residues जो generate होते हैं which are containing oil, they are hazardous waste. Then paints, pigments, lacquers, varnishes and inks for painting of trains, stations and buildings. Then acidic and alkaline residues, spent acid, and alkali, spent bath, sludge containing the sulfide, cyanide, and toxic metals. Then sludge from the bath containing organic solvents, phosphate sludge, sludge from the staining bath, then copper etching residues, and plating metal sludge from the metal surface treatment, such as etching, staining, polishing, galvanizing, cleaning, degreasing, and plating at manufacturing units. Then glues and adhesives, not made with vegetable or animal materials. These are the items which are generated as hazardous waste in railways. Hazardous waste management. Waste is generated from the industry. This waste has to be sent to the temporary storage first, from where hazardous waste is collected and transported to the treatment facility. After treating the hazardous waste, treated after treatment, some useful byproducts are obtained. They can be used, and even after treatment, the items which can't be used, they have to be either burned. The items which are combustible, they will have to be burnt in incinerators, and incineration ash that has to be sent to the secured landfill, and those items which are non-combustible, they have to be sent to the landfill directly after treatment at the treatment site. Hazardous waste scenario in India. India produces approximately 7.46 MMT of hazardous waste generated from 43,936 industries. This value is, I think, 4 5 years old. To Since hazardous waste are generated from a lot of different industries, small industries, so each and every industry cannot treat the waste economically. For that purpose, some common treatment and storage and disposal facilities have been created. First such facility was created by a cluster of industries in Gujarat. This waste generation scenario data which we are showing here, this has been taken from the 2018 data. As per that data, as per 2018 data, in India there were 27 landfill sites, 88 incinerators, 8 waste to energy plants, and 220 recycling facilities. Hazardous waste classification. Waste is listed as per this 2016 rules. Uh, Waste has been classified as per Schedule 1. Waste listed against the processes are industrial operations using mineral and synthetic oil as lubricant in hydraulic systems or other applications. Hazardous waste generated are used or spent oil, waste or residues containing oil, and waste cutting oils. And as per Schedule 2, waste having equal to or more than the concentration limits specified for the constituents in Class A and Class B or any of the characteristics as specified in Class C. In Class A, based on leachable concentration limits, Class B based on total threshold limit concentration, and Class C based on hazardous characteristics. इन बेसिस पे हैजार्डस वेस्ट को क्लासिफाई किया गया है. As per these rules, captive treatment and storage and disposal facilities, these are the facilities developed within the premises of an occupier or for treatment, storage and disposal of the waste generated from the processes or the like of hazardous or other waste. Within the premises जो facility waste collection की होती है, that is captive treatment and storage facility. Then other definition is co-processing. Co-processing is use of waste materials in manufacturing processes for the purpose of energy and or resource recovery. This substitution results in reduction in the use of conventional fuels and or raw materials. As per these rules, manifest is a transporting document which is prepared and signed by the sender, authorized in accordance with the provisions of these rules. And transboundary movement, this is actually any movement of hazardous or other waste from an area under the jurisdiction of one country or through an area under the jurisdiction of another country or through an area not under the jurisdiction of any country, provided that at least two countries are involved in the movement. यदि two या more countries involved हैं in waste के movement में, then कोई भी movement through one country to other है, that is called transboundary movement. As per these rules, occupier of a factory or industry, they have got certain responsibilities. These are, they have to follow the hierarchy of waste management, then apply for authorization using Form 1 to obtain from state pollution control boards, then hazardous waste to be sent to the authorized actual user or disposed of in an authorized common hazardous waste treatment, storage and disposal facilities. Or then to store the hazardous materials for a period not exceeding 90 days. Hazardous materials should not be stored for more than 90 days within the premises. Hazardous and other waste to be packaged with considerations for safe handling, storage and transport. Labeling to be done as per Form 8. जो hazardous waste, it should be packaged so that these are handled safely by the persons responsible for its handling, storage and transport. In the railways, locomotive sets and manufacturing units, they are coming under the purview of occupier for the purpose of hazardous waste. क्योंकि इन्हीं लोकेशंस में रेलवे में हैजार्डस वेस्ट की जनरेशन कंसिडरेबल अमाउंट में होती है. Then provide transporter with relevant information in Form 9 regarding hazardous nature of the waste and measures to be taken in case of emergency. जो ट्रांसपोर्ट डॉक्यूमेंट जो देंगे ट्रांसपोर्टर को, दिस वी शुड ऑक्यूपायर हैज टू प्रोवाइड with relevant information so that the transporter knows regarding the hazardous nature of the waste and what measures are to be taken in case of emergency. Then prepare 7 copies of the manifest duly signed in Form 10 as per the color code given in the rule. Then maintain record of hazardous waste generated in Form 3. Then submit annual returns in Form 4 by 30th June of previous finance year to the State Pollution Control Board. Then accident related to the hazardous waste to be communicated to the State Pollution Control Board. कोई भी accident, if it happens relating to the hazardous waste, it should be communicated to State Pollution Control Board in Form 11. Hazardous waste storage. Segregated storage of waste to avoid commingling or contact between incompatible waste. Waste should not be commingled, क्योंकि commingling से there may be certain chances that certain chemicals may react to give more hazardous properties. That's why they should be kept in segregated condition and commingling should be avoided. Store in closed containers away from direct sunlight, wind and rain. Reason being, direct sunlight may cause hazards, and wind and rain, they will through this the waste will be percolating. So those storage should be away from direct sunlight, wind and rain. Then secondary containment system should be constructed. Provide adequate ventilation where volatile waste are to be stored. Hazardous waste storage activities should be conducted by trained employees. Hazardous waste storage जो भी employees करें, they should be trained so that they are aware about the safety hazards related with these items. Solid waste management rules 2016. इसका भी regulatory framework is the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. After that, municipal solid waste management rules came in 2000, and then in 2016, solid management rules, plastic waste management rules, construction demolition waste management rules. All these rules came in 2016. Plastic waste को separately deal करते हैं, and construction waste is also dealt with separately. Solid waste, this can be subdivided under the categories of biodegradable, non-biodegradable, domestic hazardous and construction and demolition. Construction and demolition waste को solid waste management rules से address नहीं करते हैं. These are addressed separately. क्योंकि जो म्यूनिसिपल एरिया में जो हैजार्डस वेस्ट का जनरेशन होता है दैट इज वेरी लेस, दैट्स वाई उसको सॉलिड वेस्ट में ही के साथ ही ट्रीट कर लेते हैं, के साथ ही उसका डिस्पोजल होता है. बट इन केस ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज hazardous waste management has to be dealt with separately. Biodegradable items मेनली जो होते हैं वेट वेस्ट होते हैं, फूड वेस्ट इंक्लूडिंग एग्रीकल्चर एंड डेयरी वेस्ट, एंड नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट होता है. दिस इंक्लूड्स रिसाइक्लेबल वेस्ट, नॉन रिसाइक्लेबल कंबस्टिबल वेस्ट, सैनिटरी वेस्ट एंड नॉन रिसाइक्लेबल इनर्ट वेस्ट जो कि स्वीपिंग में जैसे राइज करता है. रेलवेज में सॉलिड वेस्ट जनरेशन कहाँ होता है? रेलवे में कुछ एक्टिविटीज कोर एक्टिविटीज हैं एंड देयर आर सम नॉन कोर एक्टिविटीज. कोर एक्टिविटीज रेलवेज का हो गया पैसेंजर एंड फ्राइट मूवमेंट. तो पैसेंजर एंड फ्राइट मूवमेंट के दौरान में जो वेस्ट जनरेट होते हैं दैट इंक्लूड्स मेनली पैकेजिंग आइटम्स, प्लास्टिक्स, वेस्ट पेपर एंड फूड वेस्ट. क्योंकि ट्रेन्स में पेंट्री की व्यवस्था होती है या अदर हॉकर्स फूड सप्लाई करते हैं, तो जो ट्रेन्स के दौरान में जो वेस्ट जनरेट होते हैं दैट कंप्राइजेज मेनली ऑफ द पैकेजिंग आइटम्स, प्लास्टिक्स, पेपर वेस्ट एंड फूड वेस्ट. एंड इन केस ऑफ नॉन कोर एक्टिविटीज like institutional waste, repair and maintenance related waste, domestic waste from residential quarters and garden waste. जो प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स हैं, वर्कशॉप्स एंड शेड्स हैं, दोज आर ऑल्सो कमिंग अंडर नॉन कोर एक्टिविटीज. तो वहाँ पर से भी वेस्ट जनरेट होते हैं. और solid waste generation by railways per day 670 tons per day of waste is generated, and per annum it comes to 2,45,000 tons. And this data is old data, this is not present data. Estimated solid waste generated at major railway stations, 402 railway stations in A1 and A category based on revenue generation across the country. ये डाटा दिया हुआ है. 114 tons per day is food waste, 340 tons per day is recyclable and includes plastic, metal, glass, paper and cardboard, and 215 tons per day is residual waste like inert waste from the sweeping, earthwares and mixed waste. Solid waste scenario in India. Average solid waste composition in India is like this. It is nearly 51% of the waste generated is biodegradable waste, 32% is plastic waste, 7% paper, 7% paper, 10% plastics and 32% other waste. लेकिन ये जो वेस्ट का जो कंपोजिशन है इट वेरीज फ्रॉम एरिया टू एरिया. अर्बन एरिया हो, रूरल एरिया हो, देयर परसेंटेज विल चेंज. Waste composition depends where the estimate is made. About 40 to 45% of the recyclable waste is managed by vast informal sector. Small cities have a higher fraction of biodegradable waste compared to large cities. As per solid waste management rules, bulk waste generators defined किए गए. As per these rules, bulk waste generators include the buildings occupied by the central state government departments or the undertakings, local bodies, public sector undertakings or private companies, hospitals, nursing homes, educational institutions, hostels, hotels, commercial establishments, markets, places of worship, stadia, sports complexes having an average waste generation rate exceeding 100 kg per day. जिस इंस्टीट्यूशन का बल्क का वेस्ट जनरेशन इज मोर देन 100 kg पर डे, दे आर कॉल्ड बल्क वेस्ट जनरेटर्स. रेलवे के केस में all the townships, office buildings, stations, locomotive sheds, hospitals, manufacturing units, they are coming under the purview of bulk waste generators. और जो भी bulk waste generators हैं, they are responsible to act as per the provisions of these rules. As per these rules, the duties of waste generators are storage and segregation. Bulk generators have to ensure segregation and storage. Segregate, store the waste in 3 separate streams. Then segregate and store. Then construction and demolition waste and agriculture waste. C and D waste, it is dealt with separately, and horticulture waste. These waste which are generated, they are either biodegradable or non-biodegradable or hazardous waste. तो जो railway premises like stations and depot premises, railway stations, they are producing mainly biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Hazardous waste का परसेंटेज ही बहुत ही कम होता है, इसलिए इनके स्टोरेज के लिए सेपरेट बीन्स शुड बी यूज्ड. बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट को जनरली वो ग्रीन बीन्स में स्टोर करते हैं, एंड नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल होता है जो कि ड्राई वेस्ट होता है, उसको ब्लू बीन्स में यूज करते हैं. जो हेजार्डस वेस्ट होगा दैट शुड बी डन इन रेड बीन्स. लेकिन चूंकि स्टेशन प्रीमाइसेस में हेजार्डस वेस्ट का जनरेशन नेग्लिजिबल होता है, इसलिए स्टेशंस में रेड कलर के बीन्स नहीं होते. आफ्टर सेग्रीगेशन एंड स्टोरेज, generator have to ensure disposal of the waste. So for disposal of the waste, this should be handed over the segregated waste to the authorized waste pickers or waste collectors notified by the local authorities. Dispose of C and D waste and horticulture waste as per the directions of local authorities. कंपोस्टिंग, जो बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट हैं, दे शुड बी बायोडिग्रेडेड बाय कंपोस्टिंग और बायोमिथेनाइजेशन विद इन द प्रेमाइसेस. रेसिडुअल वेस्ट टू बी गिवन टू द वेस्ट कलेक्टर्स और एजेंसीज. कंपोस्टिंग डज नॉट रिक्वायर ऑथराइजेशन फ्रॉम द लोकल अथॉरिटीज. Plastic waste, already it has been covered, so I am passing it. Okay. Since time is not available, I will be closing this session. If there is any query, please ask. Okay. No queries. I am closing this session. Please be available for next session at 2:45.